nak memberi sedikit pencerahan mengenai pengumuman yang dibuat oleh Presiden Trump pada awal pagi ini mengenai tarif yang dikenakan kepada banyak negara, termasuklah Malaysia. Apa yang telah berlaku ialah kita punya rundingan memang berlangsung sampailah pukul 5 pagi tadi. Tak ada. Hello? Okey. Boleh tolong kuatkan sikit? Boleh dengar? Okey. Okay. Nak kena repeat kan?
Boleh.
Ha? Repeat okey, repeat okey. Boleh dengar? Boleh dengar? Hello? Hello? Assalamualaikum. Okey. Alamak, tadi tak ikut skrip. Okey. Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat petang. Bersama-sama kita pada petang ini Timbalan Menteri Yang Berhormat Liu Sintong, Datuk KSU Tuan Hairil, juga TKSU kita, Datuk Baria dan juga Puan Mastura dan Maida dan juga agensi-agensi lain termasuklah Madrid. Tujuan press conference ini adalah untuk memberi pencerahan kepada pengumuman yang telah dibuat oleh Presiden Donald Trump, di mana Malaysia adalah salah satu negara di dalam list mengenai tarif yang dikenakan daripada Amerika Syarikat ke atas Malaysia. Okay, so just to give a background, perbincangan ini dah berlaku lama dan perbincangan terus diadakan dan pada masa yang sama Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri semalam pun telah ada berbincang mengenai isu tarif ini dengan Presiden Donald Trump jam 6.50 pagi semalam. Dan kita teruskan juga perbincangan itu. Saya sendiri berbincang dengan pihak Amerika Syarikat, our team pun, our negotiation team pun continue to engage the US side. Jam 2 pagi semalam pun kita masih lagi berbincang. Saya sendiri berbincang dengan Ambassador Jamison Greer daripada US Trade Representative. Dan in the end jam 5 kita selesai the discussion in the morning, and where he briefed us that President Trump dah setuju dengan tarif yang dikenakan ke atas Malaysia adalah 19% dan akan diumumkan bersama-sama dengan negara-negara lain, dan ini akan disusuli dengan a joint statement. Pihak Kerajaan Malaysia dan Kerajaan Amerika Syarikat akan buat joint statement. Kita MITI dan USTR akan buat joint statement insyaAllah pada hari Sabtu ataupun hari Ahad ini. So kadar tarif timbal balas untuk Malaysia telah dikurangkan daripada 25% kepada 19%. Saya nak ucapkan tahniah juga kepada pasukan kita yang terlibat. Kadar 19% ni memang kalau kita lihat adalah setara lah dengan negara-negara lain, negara-negara jiran kita. Contohnya Filipina dan Indonesia juga dikenakan 19% dan begitu juga Thailand dan Cambodia juga. Dan buat masa ini ekspor semiconductor dan pharmaceutical contohnya masih di tahap 0%, ya. Namun ianya tertakluklah kepada pihak Amerika Syarikat. Dia sedang menilai Section 232, ya, Section 232 under the US Trade Expansion Act. So for now pharmaceuticals and semiconductors are exempted. So kita look at this as a win-win, ya, putusan yang menang-menang bagi Malaysia dan Amerika Syarikat. Ia juga mencerminkan hubungan dua hala yang kukuh di antara Malaysia dan Amerika Syarikat. And what we've done is, the reciprocal tariff rate of 19% is a tariff that we feel is fair given the circumstances, and given vis-a-vis where our neighbours are and where the global landscape. So dalam rundingan tarif ini kita mengambil pendekatan yang menyeluruh dan sistematik dalam memutuskan tawaran akhir Malaysia kepada Amerika Syarikat. Jadi pasukan perunding dari MITI, of course Puan Mastura is here, telah mengadakan libat urus dengan pelbagai kementerian dan agensi. Ini bukan proses yang mudah kerana ia melibatkan begitu banyak kementerian dan juga agensi di bawah kerajaan dan juga pelibatan industri-industri. So we also need to get the views of the industry. Ya, dan kita telah mendapat kelulusan kabinet untuk memberi tawaran kepada pihak Amerika Syarikat, tawaran yang kita rasa fair untuk Malaysia. So when in the negotiation of the reduction of tariff, the government has been very thorough as well as methodical in deciding Malaysia's final offer to the US. It involves various agencies and ministries and other stakeholders, including industry players, where it was a process that took time, but it's a process that is required to be done to ensure that we reach an outcome that ensuring that national policies are not compromised. So ultimately, the cabinet approval was obtained. So for Malaysia to present our best final offer to the US. So kita nak pastikan yang berkaitan dasar-dasar utama negara kita ni tidak terjejas lah mengenai kedaulatan negara. Dan oleh itu saya tak nak buat perbandingan lah. Kalau if you want to see what we've given, I can just give you some example. Maybe during Q&A I can talk a bit more. Yeah. Kita mengemukakan tawaran menyeluruh yang meliputi sampai 98% daripada semua baris tarif. So we made a comprehensive offer that covers 98% of all tarif lines. So dia tarif line tu banyak yang diminta, dan kita melihat apa yang penting, dan tarif line yang kita lihat adalah lebih kurang 11,260 tarif line yang requested by US. Here I want to share that based on that tarif line yang 11,260 tu, kita ada lebih kurang 6,911 tarif line yang akan dikenakan 0% duty. So we agreed to only 61% of the tariff line. Yeah. So because there are industries which we feel still not ready. So I don't want to mention other countries what they did, but that's what we did. And also on non-tariff barriers, that was on tariff. On non-tariff barriers, we look at section 2. Ini untuk membaiki kedudukan Malaysia sebagai negara yang mesra pelaburan, mesra perdagangan. Banyak inisiatif penambahbaikan yang progresif telah dilaksanakan, dan ini memudahkan lagi rakan perdagangan dan pelabur kita. Dalam kesempatan ini, saya nak menangani dakwaan about the government telah menjejaskan standard halal semata-mata untuk memenuhi permintaan Amerika Syarikat. Ini tidak benar sama sekali. Ya. Apa yang telah dipersetujui dengan Amerika Syarikat adalah untuk memudah cara proses penginputan daging halal Amerika ke Malaysia, di mana JAKIM diberikan proses ini akan dilaksanakan oleh Badan Pengesahan Halal Amerika Syarikat yang diiktiraf oleh JAKIM. So basically, saya ingin menegaskan yang pematuhan syariah ini adalah prasyarat ke atas import daging halal dari kesemua negara. So it's still applicable to the US. They still need to meet the JAKIM standards of Malaysia. If they don't meet the standards of JAKIM Malaysia, they cannot bring it. So there was the rumor daripada one of the reporters here, publication mengatakan kita give in to halal. It's not true at all. So kerajaan tidak akan berganjak lah dari pendirian kita berhubung perkara ini. Jadi kita harap dari pihak yang akan memberikan gambaran yang tidak tepat, atau always check with us first before coming up with the report, because it was very sensitive. So the government views this sanction as an opportunity to improve ourselves, because these non-tariff barriers sometimes are due to bureaucratic process. We have to admit there are rooms for improvement, and some of the issues raised by US gives us an opportunity to relook at those processes, and some of those processes are due to change, are due to be improved. So that is what we want to do. So I would like to address some claims that the government is compromising the halal standard to accommodate the US request that this claim is not true. What we have agreed with the US is to facilitate the process of importation of the halal meat to Malaysia, but not compromise on the halal standards of those importation. So there's penambahbaikan lain dalam mencapai persetujuan dengan Amerika Syarikat ialah kita nak memastikan isu-isu yang kita tak compromise lah, yang tak compromise. Satu contoh ialah they want us to abolish duty excise duty, and as you know, excise duty is imposed on three goods, or three items. One is cars, secondly is tobacco, and third one is alcohol. So this is deemed as protection lah. Kerana automotive industry is seen as very important to the US. Why are we imposing? So that was the red line to us. So we continue to have the excise duty, and then pengecualian menyeluruh daripada keperluan pelaksanaan import untuk produk Amerika Syarikat. This is for import licenses for product from US. Also, we stood firm. We continue to require import permits from the US. And then liberalisasi sepenuhnya bagi syarikat equity untuk sektor strategik. So there are some strategic sectors yang kita ada maximum shareholding limit untuk pelabur-pelabur asing. So there's a maximum shareholding limit for equity foreign shareholdings in strategic sector. That also we did not agree, so we did not move to that. So nevertheless, in ensuring our domestic industries are protected and provided sufficient space and opportunities, we didn't compromise on this. I mentioned just now, export duties, blanket exemption from import licensing requirement for the US products, and total liberalisation of the equity requirement for strategic sectors. Dari segi ekonomi dan keselamatan negara, ini pun salah satu section dalam perbincangan dalam agreement kita. Dan kita telah pun mengetatkan pengeluaran sijil tempasal bukan keutamaan. This is the NPCO, where we now have taken back that power and is now under MITI, and we are the exclusive exclusive body that approved this. Kita juga telah mengukuhkan kawalan ke atas export chip on AI dari Amerika Syarikat. That one under our Strategic Trade Act under Section 12. So these are the things that we have done. So on commercial consideration, we have made some commitment lah. We made some commitment which already announced, but we reinforced that commitment. One is the Boeing aircraft purchase. I think we had an event where Prime Minister launched the commitment to purchase 30 big Boeing aircraft in the first phase, about $9.5 billion US dollars. But we also commit to additional 30 Boeing aircraft for the second phase, also valued around that. So those are some of the examples of commitment, but I can talk a bit more for Q&A. But before I close and open for Q&A, saya nak mengumumkan that kerajaan berharap pengumuman kadar tarif ini memberi ketentuan kepada para pengeksport dengan para pemain-pemain industri. MITI juga telah menggesa para pemain industri untuk memanfaatkan sepenuhnya 18 perjanjian perdagangan bebas yang kita ada dengan negara-negara lain untuk mempelbagaikan dan meluaskan pasaran ekspor mereka. So kita nak merakamkan penghargaan kepada Yang Berhormat Perdana Menteri, juga pejabat Perdana Menteri, pelbagai kementerian agensi yang terlibat, Dewan Perdagangan yang terlibat juga. Kerana mereka semua memainkan peranan penting dan telah menyediakan tawaran terbaik kepada Amerika Syarikat. Dan tidak lupa juga kepada team members of the MITI team. They work diligently. I know the last 48 hours, most of them tak tidur. So, okay, terima kasih. So, we open the floor to Q&A. Thank you.
Datuk Seri, what are the concessions that have been made?
Yeah, so the concession that we made, one is on the tariff lines I mentioned just now. Some tariff line has been gone to zero. So that's one of the concession. The other concessions that we made, the various commitments on improvement on non-tariff barrier procedures. So nak percepatkan prosedur-prosedur untuk kelulusan. Kita juga ada perbincangan mengenai isu-isu yang melibatkan industri-industri yang dalam sektor agriculture, di mana contohnya kelulusan untuk mengimport tu kita percepatkan, terutama dalam daging dan ayam, and also susu. Yeah, so those are sanitary and phytosanitary as well. So those are some examples, but mostly, to be fair, things that we were going to do, and some commitment on labour policies, which we already signed under the ILO. Yeah, some commitments that we have made at WTO and various other agencies, various other world bodies. They not commitment also on environment as well, commitment on environment, which again, actually, to be fair, we already have committed. So we reiterate the commitment on that.
You already clarified on the halal standard, no compromise there. But how about the supplying of the rare earth? Is it that we have to supply direct to the US?
So that was also another wrong news. You will see in the joint statement nanti, tidak ada agreement yang we have to supply rare earth exclusively to the US or any other country for that matter, not to our neighbours or to China or to US. Tak ada, tidak ada. And tak minta pun. To be fair, there was never a request on that side, so I'm not sure where that came from. So because a lot of speculation, but I can attest here there was no request even from the US to be exclusively have access to our rare earth.
Datuk Seri tadi sebut tak ada buat comparison, tapi of course memandang negara China.
You boleh buat comparison lah.
Indonesia for example, banyak benda yang dia terpaksa compromise untuk mencapai tahap yang sama 11%. Memang itu saja ke yang US minta? Sebab kalau ikutkan memang adakah
dia minta banyak. Kita yang tak compromise yang sensitif contohnya macam automotive industry. I think you know that's quite a important industry for the Americans. But kita pun ada automotive industry kita yang employ lebih kurang 700,000 pekerja. So we employ about 700,000 people, for example, in automotive industry, and we have our national cars as well and that different supply chain. So the concern is about the import duty, removal of AP. Yeah. So kita ada AP untuk kereta. Kita ada excise duty pun. Kita dalam industri lain semua tak ada excise duty. Kenapa ada automotive kena ada excise duty? So all this to them it's not fair lah, and to many other countries also. So for us, we have our reasons, national policy to ensure that we continue to remain competitive. But we of course have to be cognizant that this support also must bring value to the country, and as long as it continues to bring value to the country in terms of spillover, in terms of jobs, in terms of building up that ecosystem, then we must continue. But say one day it's no longer important, then of course we can review lah. But for now, we think we are not ready yet to remove those barriers. Sama juga dengan equity holdings, sama juga dengan some of the requests to relook on the laws on digital platforms. Yeah, I think some of you in the media often tahu that some may view our laws on the digital platform being too strict, kan, berbanding dengan negara-negara lain. But when we spoke to the kementerian yang berkenaan dengan juga bahagian undang-undang, they are firm. They said no, we have to do this given the country's position. We have our own sensitivities that we cannot undermine, especially on national security.
Saya follow up sikit. Bagaimana pula tentang mekanisme sejak 16 kali untuk semak semua itu juga dilihat menimbulkan ketidaktentuan pada
for that one, I'm not so sure whether that was discussed. Ada? Tak ada. I'm not aware of that discussion. But having said that, in the joint announcement, there is no timeline. I think you will see in the joint announcement. Kita pun dah finalize joint announcement tu. We will see that there is no timeline. But having said that, we never know lah whether there's any decisions that will come from the US administration. But as far as we're concerned, this does help gives a bit more certainty lah going forward for industries and for exporters. And we will continue, ya, and ambil peluang untuk cakap ni, kita akan continue untuk engage US dan bagi list mana yang kita rasa yang perlu dapat zero tarif untuk ekspor. Contohnya lah, contohnya industri ataupun barangan ataupun komoditi yang Amerika Syarikat tidak boleh produce pun. So those products that, or agriculture products or commodity products that America cannot produce, they are open to give zero tariff. For example, cocoa or rubber or palm oil. This they are also open to impose zero tariff because it's not seen as it's not a product that can be substituted.
What about our rubber gloves?
To product manufactured, it's not rubber itself lah. I think for now that will be part of in the list lah.
The concession is
yeah, 19%. They will kena 19%.
Dr. Seri, so you mean that the MITI is still in negotiations with US to reduce the cocoa or all the commodities as well?
Well, not negotiation, but we give them the list. The list, because I think the understanding is you give the list, products that cannot be substituted by the US. It's not manufactured, it's all upstream. Semua produk upstream, so, the agriculture, the commodity. Then kalau dia tak boleh produce, then they will consider and they will inform us whether.
So there are still rooms for negotiation for zero tariff for these commodities products.
Okay, we are finalizing the agreement.
Yeah. So we're finalizing the agreement. Just wait.
Mutual agreement for both sides.
So it's a mutual agreement.
Will be included.
Yeah. So in that mutual agreement, those will be included. Yeah. So what the chief negotiator means is that they've asked for the list. We given the list. It will be reflected in the agreement.
Could we just get an idea of the 6,000 plus that were giving zero rated tariff? Could you just give an idea of what sectors exactly will be impacted by this? And also, could you just give some clarity on the transshipment that President Trump had mentioned in his executive order?
Yeah. So for transshipment issue, that's why we decided on the NPCO, the certificate of origin. So the concern is whether there will be products that are manufactured in Malaysia, but actually not really manufactured in Malaysia, just packaged in Malaysia, and then to avoid the high tariff from other countries. Let's say country A has a higher tariff, they move their products. Could be China, could be any other country. Then they claim it's been produced here, but actually it's been used just for transshipment. Maybe they just do the packaging here. So that is why we took away the right of issuing the NPCO. Now only MITI can issue the NPCO, but when we issue the NPCO, we go and audit, verify whether this product is. So there are cases. Yeah. So they must show that a lot of substantial processes of the activity in the manufacturing outfit that they have here is done locally. So this is where we go. Before dulu dia based on trust. You minta the chamber goes through the chamber. Chamber doesn't go physically there. We go down physically. Later we are still finding out the report. I have not got the full report, but there are examples of companies doing this, like it or not. But banyak company yang buat ni pun takut nak minta lah, because once you minta, we have to go down. There's 100% check. It's not a random. There's no sampling. It does cause some delays, but we have to do it. No, it's just not allowed. No, the product. Yeah, so it's so okay. So, yeah, so the definition of transshipment, basically, we are a trading country. So is Singapore. There's a lot of transshipment activities because, if you look at the trade value of Singapore, it doesn't make sense that the country of 5 million can consume that much, right? So it is a transshipment hub. So it's a trading hub, but transshipment hub, you must announce or you must declare correctly where is the product from. Because sometimes you have product A come to Malaysia, but it's meant for Thailand. So, but the cargo changes here, right? So, but that's okay because the product is from US. You declare it's from US. When you said the transshipment issue is the false declaration. So they come to Malaysia, and then they suddenly from China or from Vietnam or from wherever, then they repackage it here. Then you chop it's from Malaysia. That is the transshipment issue. There's no problem with transshipment if you declare correctly. Yeah, because again, the transshipment, the reason why they do this is more now than before is because to avoid the higher tariff lah. Because let's say country A tarif 30 atau 40, dia akan bawa produk dia kat Malaysia and dia pasang kat sini and then dia chop in Malaysia, so dia kena 19. So that is what you cannot, especially if you avoid tariff. Yeah, but if you still declare China, then you or Vietnam say 20%, let's say 1%. So then they boleh go through Malaysia, no problem, but they kena lah the tariff rate of that country lah, not of Malaysia. Yeah.
How about financial sector? Did anything come up in the financial sector?
The financial sector, no, because we've stood firm. We don't want to change any policies on the financial sector. We also stood firm on the government procurement. We also stood firm on the Bumiputra issues. So those are some of the areas we stood firm lah. So overall, I think given the many things that we stood firm, we are quite happy that America understand our position because we explained why. Because of where we are in the country's development, the sensitivities and all that. And we also said that we need to continue to be competitive. We want the rate to be fair in the region with our other ASEAN neighbors. So I think we are quite satisfied, relatively speaking, where we are vis-a-vis our ASEAN partners.
Also to my other question on the sectors that will be affected on the zero.
Yeah, so they're divided to two. One is agriculture, one is industrial. So if you look at agriculture, industrial, when we look at the 6,567, agriculture products only 191 lines out of that 6,567, and the other industrial products 1,347 lines. Yang keluar kan, yang jadi zero. So
The existing zero is 6,000 something.
yes, existing tariff is 6,567, mostly industrial, and tapi yang
Both industry.
yeah, mostly industrial because majority is industrial. That is where the number is coming from. But the new tariff line duty is 6,911, that on 0%.
Agriculture 191 tu, we eliminate duty based on US request.
Yeah, so yang kita eliminate duty tu, yang 191 tu is based on the US request, and US also request for industrial products 1,347 also based on US request. So the new tariff line with 0% duty in total, when you include the request, is 6,911 out of 11,260 tariff lines. So we have zero rice duty on 61% of our imported products from the US.
Datuk Seri, last time waktu sidang media yang dulu, Datuk Seri kata kita ada banyak potential investment coming in, tapi disebabkan tarif uncertainties ni sikap tunggu dan lihat. Now there's a bit of clarity. Datuk Seri punya mana follow up?
Yeah, so we have to follow up with the companies. I think the companies will need to do their assessment. So we will discuss with them because some sector tak affected langsung for now. Contohnya yang tengah semiconductor tidak dikenakan apa-apa tarif membuat masa ini. But again, that's still uncertainty because they're still studying that Section 232. So we will have to wait for the outcome of that study. So there are still some uncertainty on some sectors, but overall, I think it is better than what they were expecting. I think, to be fair, when I discussed with them, relatively speaking. So we will engage them and see what are the other concerns they have. Yep.
You mentioned there's still some uncertainties with regards to semiconductors
Hmm.
and also EAE because of Section 232 of the Inspection Act. Is there a timeline for these uncertainties to be resolved?
Yeah, I have to ask the US administration. We don't know. That the timeline that we would inform is December.
The Department of Commerce was given until December to
Yeah.
come up with their
So
finding.
December, because the Department of Commerce, which is in charge of this study, to find what is fair and not fair, this investigation, they've been given until December. So we assume that by December lah. It could be earlier. We don't know. I mean, you have to ask the Department of Commerce that question. Yeah.
So for the December deadline, it's only for the 0% tariffs sectors like E&E, right?
Not E&E, semiconductor.
Semiconductors. What about others like the 19% one? Is it already the finalized tariff
Yeah,
rate?
90% yang semua lah, promo product.
Okay, so there will be no changes in the future, right? Even
From our understanding, no lah.
so for to wait for the deadline, it's only semiconductor sector.
How much to go?
From okay.
Dr. Sri, has Malaysia zero tariff any American products that we import,
Yes, yes, of course.
such as?
Fruits,
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 poultry,
poultry.
poultry.
dairy products, and then
Yeah, it's actually
quite a lot.
It's public document kan, the list. Yeah, it's public document.
Not yet lah.
Yeah, no, yang dulu punya, sebelum ni.
yang
So you can see the existing. We can. I mean, I think I can share with you. It's in our website. I think. You can see the list of 0% that we've given before. It's a public document.
Is there anything new?
Yeah, of course. I just said just now. 191 new lists on agriculture. Yeah. Yeah. From the so there are new lists lah. Existing, as I mentioned just now, new tariff lines that got 0% duty that requested by US. There's 191 lines for agriculture and 1,347 lines for industrial. So this is the one that they request, and we agreed for not all.
For industrial.
For industrial good, not all.
About 90 something.
90 something, both about 90 something% that we agreed. But the list will come out later because we have to, because importers have to know. So this is all public document. Yeah. So you will know what we're giving zero now today, by checking with MITI, and the new list you will see in our joint statement that is coming out over the weekend. But I'm just giving you that they've requested total of for agriculture the total 191 lines to be zero. We agree for 90+%, 92, 93% of those lines.
How much of a factor was Malaysia's role in facilitating a ceasefire?
Oh.
Were they getting a discount?
Honestly, I don't know. I didn't ask, but I think it did definitely help. How much? I'm not aware. I don't think they did. But all the goodwill that was achieved during the call between Prime Minister and Donald Trump, where one of the discussion was about the what do you call it, the ceasefire, I believe did give good impression on Malaysia's role as chairman of ASEAN, as Malaysia's role in the peace keeping in the ceasefire discussion. Oh yeah, sebelum saya lupa, enforcement date is 8th of August. So from 8th of August, those product dia akan kena ekspor kita yang ada dalam list tu nanti akan dikenakan 19% from 8th of August. No, only the chambers. The chambers have stated they are quite happy. The American chambers, they call me. One is they're happy that, okay lah, certainty, and secondly is relatively speaking, of course nobody's happy with tariff, but they want to see whether we are higher or lower than our peers. So if you look at where our peers are, we are in line with our peers, so they're quite happy with those are for the American companies lah.
Alright, soalan terakhir. Okay.
Tidak ada. Okay.
Terima kasih.
Ada. Sorry, go. Ya, Kak.
Sorry, Datuk. Is it now confirm 60 going, is it?
30 plus 30.
Okay.
30 plus 30.
That is our commitment.
That's our commitment. Yang 30 ya.
Yang 30 tu dah betul.
30 tu dah kita buat pengumuman, PM pun sendiri lancarkan, so kita tambah another commitment of 30.
Alright, terima kasih semua. Terima kasih Webly.
Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Datang media.
Terima kasih. Cepat minum semua. Ha?
Some groups,